Hi guys, my name is Savin Chauke. Welcome to another YouTube video. If you're not part of this community, do so by subscribing so that you can get update. I try to post one video every week. Anyway, I don't like sharing the books that I read because I don't think people are like me. And obviously I know that people, they are like me in certain extent. So people have been asking me for a very long time, please share some of your books that you read. And I've been trying to do that through TikTok, sharing some of the videos. I used to do that through Facebook, but I've kind of realized that the market that I was having that side of Facebook, which maybe it's of my own making to a certain extent, I believe that it is of my own making. You know, if you start a YouTube channel or any account, you post jokes, people will come there for jokes. If you post something about God, people will come there for God. So whatever you post, that's what actually attracts your market. So I think I've got myself to be blamed for what I've done that side of the world. But anyway, today I want to talk about some of the books that I have read which have changed my life. Some of these books, they're no longer very much applicable to me because of the commitments that I've made. And some of you, maybe you're still going to make the same commitments, but right now you do need to read these books. But you know, to be honest with you, some of these books, it's a dating advice. But you know, you get to realize that a dating advice, there's no such thing as a dating advice to begin with. You kind of realize that these advices, it's about maybe changing your perspective, or how you communicate, or how you dress, or how you walk, or your self-image. So it has really nothing to do with the advice per se. Sometimes the advice might sound like it's a dating advice, but actually realize that it's actually not when you study their advice. So as I told you, I believe that as men, you know, we have got capacity that we have been given by God, and we can be able to use that influence in the best way. So far, only a handful of us that are doing that. Hence, we are in the situation where on Friday at work, they've sent out a mail where they were asking us to stand and support, you know, the victims of GBV by wearing people or black. And you know, it's very painful. You know, you go through social media, you see all these photos and these videos and all this mistreatment and the words that are being said and everything. Because remember, if we follow the Immanuel Kant proposition, is that, you know, whatever that you do, you want to think about it. What if this thing became a moral law or universal law? If everybody was killing everyone, what if if that was the law? You understand? So all I want to say about this is that as guys, we have to speak. You know, that's number one. Before I can go to the books, by the way, because one thing that also happened this week was that on the 19th, if I'm not mistaken, it was International Men's Day. We were celebrating men across the whole world, and obviously, you know, for some weird reason, it missed me. You know, I had to post the video on the 20th about this, and it kind of like made me realize that maybe as men, we're not taking enough steps to be able to do this. You know, people, we always criticize women. We're like, no, you know, women are always taken seriously, and this has always happened, and this always happened. But, you know, as men as well, you know, what are we doing? What can't we just stand on that day and maybe, you know, we do a peaceful protest, or we do something to show that actually we value each other as men and have conversations, you know. Recently, I'm really enjoying the Amagent's conversations. It's really something that we've been looking forward to. I think as South Africa, for example, you know, we've been talking about this Invisible Men Conference, you know, but we've never implemented any. Obviously, now and then you'll see some men's conference that people are doing, but you know, guys, the most important conversation or conference that is needed is the conversation or the conference between two people. When I'm with my friend, what do I say to him about women? What do I say to him about more money? You know, that's the most important conversation that we need to have. So with this video, what I'm trying to establish, or what I'm trying to say as men, is that the most important thing that we need to do as men is that we need to create a safe space for us to communicate. We as guys are not communicating. We are not sharing our stress. We are not sharing what is troubling us. You know, if you can look at women talk about everything, small things, big things, baby, today I've received a text, today I've received a gift, today I've received, now I have got a headache. Like, women communicate about everything. And that's what kind of like want to try to do. Because I think what then has happened about us as men, because of a function of patriarchy, is that we have put ourselves in a situation where we think that we hold society together. So therefore, because we do that, we are not allowed to cry, we are not allowed to speak, we're not allowed to mention our concerns. Why? Because we hold society together. So if you hold society together, you cannot cry. We have made ourselves to be the generals of the army, that your soldiers cannot come to you and they find you crying. What's going to do that to the rest of the war? So guys, we need to talk more. We need to have more safe spaces, because the thing, like what we're struggling to do, is that we don't have enough safe spaces for us to be able to communicate our concerns, right? So we need to do that as men. Don't let us use these platforms, these conversations, to be able to talk, to say, you know what, I'm not happy at home. My wife is treating me like this. At work, I'm being treated like this. My kids treat me like this. I'm struggling with my finances. I'm struggling with my relationship with God. Like, we have to talk about all of these things, so that when you're talking, you're kind of like mapping out the problem, so that you can start mapping up a solution. You cannot start mapping up a solution from just, saying that I've got a problem and then what do I do? So we need to talk more. Now, so I want to go to some books, some materials that I think it can be very much helpful for you guys. And maybe before I can go to books, I think I want to recommend some channels that, as a man, you can start, checking and see how can you be able to help yourself. Channel number one, or resource number one, I want to recommend the School of Life. It's run by the guy named Alain de Botton. It's a very incredible school. I think it actually has helped me a lot, in terms of like, trying to understand yourself, trying to understand how you process things and process emotions. It has been a very, very, very powerful tool. It was actually recommended to me by a great friend of mine, Sustenius Makwele. So it's a very great tool. It's something that you can go, and read articles and watch videos that can actually address your self-esteem, or you're struggling with relationships. It's a very, very powerful tool. So that's number one, School of Life. Number two, I'm recommending lectures by Jordan Peterson. May he recover well wherever he is. We've received news that he has not been feeling well. Jordan Peterson have got so much lectures that you can able to actually start attending. My favorite lectures of all the times, it's this psychological, the significance of biblical stories. It's a lecture series about the Bible, but the way he uses philosophy and psychology and psychoanalysis to dissect the Bible, it was so interesting to me. So that's something that you can check it out as well. And another person that you can actually go to if you need relationship real advice. I don't think like it's a relationship advice. It's actually like advice on how to build yourself as a man. You can go to a guy called Patrice O'Neill. Patrice was an American stand-up comedy, but it kind of like, I think he really understood what does it mean to a man, and the psychological makeup thereof. So I think like it's one person that you can actually go to as a starting point resources. I don't want to recommend a lot to you guys. I think I'm gonna do this like as an extra video, but for now, let me talk about 5 books that you need to read as a man to begin just your journey, to your psychological well-being and emotional well-being, because as guys, I think we have neglected that a lot. So book number 1, I will recommend the book Models by Mark Manson. Mark Manson is the guy who wrote The Subtle Art, and so this was his first book, by the way. If you can go to the internet and you look for it, you can actually find a soft copy for this. And this book really, it just talks about you as a man, and the things that you need to value and how you need to live your life. It's a dating advice, but sorry, as I said, it's really about you. Second book that I can advise you to read It's The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. This book teaches the old methods of money, the accumulation of money, the, sorry about that, guys. This thing fell. So it just teaches you, as I said, the accumulation of money, and how you can be able to accumulate it, preserve it, and multiply it, right? That's the basic of the book. I'm just gonna ignore the elephant. The elephant are very heavy, so that's why they fell. The next book I'm going to recommend, it's No More Mr. Nice Guy by Tim Glover. Again, it's a very great book, very interesting book that you can able to check it out. Again, guys, this is what I always recommend to you. A dating advice is not a dating advice per se. A dating advice is actually an advice that you have to work on yourself, because the biggest project that you have to work on is you. So don't focus on the dating part of the book. Just focus on what does this book teaches about me. Why am I insecure? Why can't I speak my values? Why can't I speak my truth? That's the most important thing. The next book that I want to recommend is Lessons of History by Durant. This is a very brilliant book, actually. He tries to go to history about everything, history about money, history about religion. And this is kind of like gives you a broad understanding as a man to try to understand the world that you're operating in. Lastly, I want to recommend this book. This book, it usually gets a bad reputation. People don't like the book, they talk bad about the book, and they say a lot about the book. Most of them, I can tell you, they have never read the book. I want to recommend the book to you. It's a leadership book, according to me. Like, it's kind of like a personal leadership book. The Richest Man, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It's a very incredible book. Law number 1, never outshine the master. This is something that you see at work, something that you see at work, it happens at work, you think you're brilliant, you think like you're a great engineer, you think like they will appreciate you for being brilliant at work, but you realize that when you try to act brilliant, you get a different outcome of your acting or of your actions. So this is the book that you need to read, and it helps you to understand social intelligence, how people think, how people do business, how people behave and act, you understand? And these are the 5 books that I wanted to recommend to you guys, to say, make time, get one of these books, read it, internalize what it talks about. It helps you to see yourself differently, because we as men, we see ourselves through the eyes, through the lens of society, through the lens of provisions. And this is why we get into situations that a lot of us, either we stop talking to people or we just take our lives, because we don't talk. We don't have ways in which we can be able to reason out the challenges that we have. And the problem that we have again in society is that a lot of things right now has went to video, has went to text, has went to sound. So people don't have this time where they sit down with a text and they go through the text and they read it and they meditate on the text and they see how the text can able to change their lives, And lastly, the book that I want to recommend is the Bible. People always have so many ideas about the Bible, what it says, what it was meant for. It's a tool for deception, it's a tool for this. But guys, for such a text to survive up until now, it cannot be that someone has not figured out that this is not a tool for deception. The Bible have got 2 important distinctions. Number 1 is that it teaches you what people have done. Number 2, it teaches you the consequences of what they have done. It's one book that I've realized that it shows you that people who are smarter than you, what did they do? People who are dumber than you, what did they do? People who are like you, what did they do? And it shows you the outcome. So if there's a book like that, wouldn't you be interested to read it? I would be interested to read it. So those are the 5 recommendations. The 6th one being the bonus, meaning being the Bible, because I believe that this is a piece of work that is available in society that I can able to read it. Personally, the Bible has changed my life. It has transformed my thinking, and I hope that it does the same thing to you. Up until I see you on the next video, stay well, like, subscribe to become part of this community. Cheers.